basically a practitioner working with Government of India as a procurement expert, but having an interest in academics and research area. That's why I'm pursuing this writing and some part-time teaching also. And Dr. Prakash happens to be, related with my work in the past. So today, I've written a paper on a very important and known topic, hybrid annuity model as an emerging tool for urban infrastructure development under PPP. This hybrid annuity model as such is a part of management, is an offshoot of PPP, much talked in the road sector, very mature in India. But probably first time under Namami Gange program, this tool has been added. Hello.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yes, yeah.
If you can start your video, it will be great.
Hello, yes.
You start your video, sir.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, okay. I mean, now it's fine. Sir. It's fine,
Right,
sir?
sir. Right, sir. Continue, please.
Am I okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So this tool has been used first time in India and under Namami Gange program, which is already going on, possibly with the success. So Namami Ganga and Ganga program is much known for last 2 decades. And I happened to be in the first when Rajiv Gandhi was launched this program. So I will be linking these things, what was wrong with the management of that program and how this program is structured this time. So it was 20 years, probably in 96, this program was started. And now it is again, the same program has been restructured as a Namami Gange program. And now across the country, this program, hello.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. Okay. Now this program has been launched from the Gange regions, as a part of Namami Gange, from Uttarakhand to West Bengal, and we have 4 states. So this program is currently under, run under the Jal Shakti programs, and this is operational in 4 states, and every state is having a special group, and that is under the National River Authority program, which is a part of the ministry. Hello.
Yes, sir, you are. We can hear you.
Okay.
Audible, sir. Audible.
Okay. So this program. Hello.
Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Yes, sir. You please continue.
Please go ahead, sir. You are audible, sir.
Sir, you are audible. You are audible, sir. Please continue.
Hello. Yes. So just as a so this program, this is a Namami Gange program. Just I will go quickly. So this was a program under Namami Action Plan. Now it has been restructured as under NMCG as a Namami Gange program. The whole program, when the last time it was delivered, it was a capital program, not contributed by the state government. So it was not based on the life cycle program. I will just go to the quickly. This time, this program has been structured with a life cycle cost. Means STP is a basic wastewater treatment plant has been envisaged as a part of investment to take the domestic sector first sector. So this program is envisaged as, unlike EPC, where we take all the projects, we deploy the contractor based on some deliverable and pay to them. It's very simple, or you go for rate contract. In this time, this project has been structured as a hybrid annuity model, which in one sense people say is an extension of EPC. But in my view, this is not an extension of EPC. This is basically a PPP program where a risk is still with the private vendor. Now, how this program has been structured, I will come to my next slides. So this is basically a 20,000 crore program. It is 100% funded by the national government. That's the reason in the last program it was not 100%. So a state contribution did not come out. That was also one reason. And ONM was not built up in the previous program of Gange Action Plan. So once the capital was, the project was developed, it could not sustain the ONM. But this time it was envisaged that we should have to have a complete life cycle projects where we can assure of the quality development of the plants with the efficient running throughout its concession period or throughout its operation period of life. So the project was very much structured with the help of IFC, because IFC was funding these projects across the country to Government of India. So this was first time it started with first project in Jagjitpur, 140 MLD projects. Now at this moment it is completed before time it is operational. On the same pyramid, all the 288 projects have been designed, where either it is a project or it has some networks also. I'm coming to the program. So basically this program was a 15 years model, basically a EPC embodied, but having a performance based, KPIs based payments. So how it was envisaged, any concessionaire who is selected under this program, 40% is paid upfront based on the bank guarantee, and the 60% on quarterly basis throughout the 15 years period, which is considered as a life cycle of this plant. So they will be getting the 60% of the cost on quarterly basis based on the KPIs. Here is the catch. Now the KPIs are well structured environmental parameters. If you do not fulfill, you will not get the money. And here the NGT, all those issues are come. So here the quality of the plant has to be a grade, otherwise you will lose the money, and that is where the risk is there. So the CapEx and OpEx model, both way has been fixed there, and for the assurance purpose, the Government of India has, as I have told you, it is 100% central government sponsored program. Possibly, to my knowledge, it is very few. I can say it is unlike a smart city, it's very few program where 100% payments are with the central government funding, and it is a non-lapsable. This is another uniqueness of this program. So suppose if you are not able to complete, it will be a rollout for the next year, and the money will be in the SQ account. So the concessionaire will be assured of getting the money, else in the local government or state level, money payment or cash flow is a issue for the private vendors or the business entities. So how it started with, at least at this moment, this started with, I will say, the very famous, there are 3 unique plants in Varanasi. Everybody knows about that. Bhoti, Dinapur, Ramanna. Few of them are with SLs, and some other private companies are there, those who are making it. When I say about 120 MLD, you can say about 4-5 crore per MLD, 3 crore per MLD, about costs are there for each of the projects. But along with these plants, there's also some networks has been also embedded with that, so that the whole package is delivered. Now, this whole, as I have told you before, this program has been designed for a life cycle cost based on the KPIs. So the BOD, COD, all these parameters based on the NGT, this has been designed, and that has been put in the as a payment parameters, as a KPI parameters for quarterly payment. This has been the model that has been adopted for across the country. In Uttarakhand, in Uttar Pradesh, then you have got Jharkhand, just one city is there, Sahibganj, and then you have got a couple of towns in Bihar, and then you have got other city like West Bengal. So this is how this structure has been admitted. Now coming to this point, how this has been become or emerged as a business opportunities for a small and medium units and the big units. How for a small units? Like in Uttarakhand, except Hardwar, you have a Rudraprayag, you have upper streams, Badrinath. Those are very 1 or 2 or 3 MLD. So what they do, they are small companies. They take it there, maintain it for 15 years. So they, since the longer duration is there, so they have an interest in having a long-term maintenance and long-term opportunities of business. So the smaller companies are basically for a small plant. A small plant, when I say less than 5 MLD, 2 MLD. Sometime, in STP, you have a package, STPs also. If it is less than 1 MLD, 2 MLD, like in all commercial establishment, hotels and restaurants, you don't have this type. You have a bold, ground molded STPs are there. So you can have the smaller STPs, the small businessmen have the opportunity. And the bigger one, of course, you have some big investors. Now, since this project is under a green funding, it is addressing a lot of larger issues of climate change and environment. So it has an opportunity or access to the green funding, where you have got 2-3% of crop subsidization based on the labor interest or based on the banking interest rate. So that way they are getting a subsidized capital. They are getting a subsidized capital under this program. That's the uniqueness of that. Now, what is the existing capacity of assessment? There is a big opportunities for this business. As we know, in a sewerage is one of the most neglected sectors in India. So there is a big opportunities based of the NGT, based of the climate concern, based of the city development program. And as the pandemic or all these issues of public health is becoming a concern. So this is a great opportunities for businesses also. As I have told you before, mainly this Namami Gange program is extensively in UP, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand. Just a small portion of Ganga is there, only 48 kilometers. So they have. So how this sewage treatment plant has been assessed. So when this was structured, was done, it was done based on the scale of business, technical alignments of assets, one city, one operator approach based on technical and financial sustainability. What do you mean by one city, one operator approach? Suppose you have got a 2 MLD, 1 MLD, like in Mathura, like in Badrinath, a smaller town. You cannot expect a STP operator will be different, SCP operator, the pump house operator will be different, network developer will be different. No, you have to have a scale of business there so that they can manage all part of the system, transportation of waste transportation or operation or their processing. So you can't have you can't think of having a 2-3 operator because it will not sustain it. So the approach was designed here, it will be having one city, one operator approach. And that has paid, and that we have got a good experience in approaching this. Second, it was a technical alignment of the assets. This another uniqueness of this approach was, at least on paper, or I will say practically, we did not propagate any technology. We were having a technology neutral. What our concern was, you have to fulfill the parameters. These are some of the states. You will quickly, I will go through that. You are seeing these are the states, towns where the STP has been installed. I'm just quickly going through it so that you will have the idea about it. Now I will just have 1 or 2 minutes on this stretch, the technological options. Since we were technology neutral, we only put it the condition of the KPIs. Whichever technology is able to fulfill this, we will be able to award this. But after all the technical evaluation, there are 3, 4 forms, but all of them have adopted SBR technology, that is called submerged aerated filter technology, that has been adopted in this project, where it has been found that the SBR is a more effective technology because of the their flexibility of operational flexibility is there, and it has a potential cost saving in capital. And then they realized that possibly for all the 3 levels of that waste processing, possibly this technology stands in this Indian context. So all the bidders, concessionaires across the country have adopted this technology, and that's how we have gone for all the states for this. Now, these are the parameters, KPIs parameter listed on my screen. You need to fulfill under this. Now, if you, if it is, the contract has been in such a way, you have to fulfill these parameters within the range. If you do not forfeit, there is a penalty for that. And if the penalties, those conditions have been put in there. Just I'm quickly going through it because time is less, I think. Okay. So you have to have this, you have to give. Then there has been very structured contract procedures have been laid out in there. You have to have 12 months of successive, and then penalty. If you have a more than 10% penalty, you will be having your contract will be terminated. So a series of operational contracts conditions, and as well as for technical conditions have been put for there. That has been elaborated in this contract for them. Now, how to make this? The question is how to make a business model for performance-based contracting procedures. How you will make that? So, as for any business analysis, you do the financial analysis, financial status, return, normal, business financial analysis. You do that. Same has been adopted in then by the contractor, by the bidder in evaluating this. What is the rate of return we are getting out of that? And as I have told you, the source of revenue for this project has only been the government contract money, without considering it reuse of water cost or some collections from the water cell. That has not been, that has been additional things in this. Possibly for this contract period, it has not been added as an input for, revenue recovery, because it is the first model that we have developed it. So we have given a opportunity or incentive. This will be additional for that, at least for this project period. So based on that, this model has been designed as a CapEx and OpEx model for two distinct periods. The OpEx model is for 15 years, and the 15 years period will be given 60% of the cost, and CapEx you are getting 40% on the beginning of the contract. So this is how this project has been structured. Now, for going ahead with these projects, we have identified number of risk strategy, identifying the risk, monitoring risk, mitigation risk, because the whole project is basically how effective you are able to identify the risk and how effectively you are able to mitigate the risk. So this has been the core essence of this contract, how you are able. So the risk management strategy has been identified and mitigated. Then during the contractual allocated risk, land acquisition, statutory clearance, environmental risk, all these risks have been passed on to the client. Unlike in a EPC contract, the EPC contractor, now of course these contracts have now in PPP or in EPC, now government is doing this contract. Then there are residual risk also is there, which is residual risks are basically all risk residuals are with the concessionaire. That has been identified, and then it has been designed to how to mitigate it. Then contract variation risk is also identified in there in case suppose wastewater capacity is increased or more networks have been added. Like most of the cities, you will not have sewerage system, you will have drainage. So what they are doing it, they just don't develop the drainage sewerage line, they just tap the interception and diversion of drainage and then they treat the water. Because sewerage development will take a long time. Most of the city, we do not have a sewerage network, but we have a sewerage plant because that plant is fed by drainage system. Even in Uttarakhand, you have Srinagar and all those things, their sewerage systems are not there. So this has been, basically it has been identified and that it has been there. Then a very proper reporting system on desk-based reporting system has been developed for supervisory level as well as for decision-making level. Then escalation mechanism has also been very well developed there, so that whoever is accountable for whatever level, that is to be addressed there, and that has been done in this case. Then this is how this project has been developed, and to the good for the first time, I will say, for last 4 years, this Namami Gange program is going on. I will say Uttarakhand is almost over. You will have everywhere treatment plant going on. Let's talk about UP, Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh, Varanasi, Muzaffarnagar, Mathura is already there. A lot of PPP HAM model has been already implemented. I have mentioned the name of some of the Varanasi plants like Dasta. This is almost likely to be completed. Now in wastewater system, the government of India has recently done 2 major bilateral support programs. One, it was done with the USA, one it was done with the Netherlands. You know, Netherlands was our first Ganga Action Plan partner in 1996. And that time it was a USB technology. So, but of course, for some reason, that technology could not sustain here. But as a water sector, they have a good knowledge. So we are learning innovative technology from them, and how to go for at least for the drainage water and the flooding water, that technology we are having a lot of coordination with them. And both these things is also addressing, SDG 9 and SDG 11, build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. So this our whole program is the larger gamut of SDG 9 and SDG 11. In recently, Planning Commission has issued how the India is going to address their SDG. So our Namami Ganga program in the larger gamut of SDG, we will be also including this. Now, in my research paper, how we have concluded this in my paper, which we have submitted, it is addressing at least 3 main systems, 3 main key parameters. It has induced competition, it has promoted monitoring, and it has also given incentive for transfer risk in principal and agent relationship. What I mean by principal and agent relationship, principal is always the government, and agent whoever is the vendor or contractor. So the point is, here in our relationship, business people are for risk, business is for risk. But the only problem, the risk should be known, risk should be identifiable. So in this business model, we have tried to identify these 3 parameters and put a mitigation measures for these 3 things. Then the other findings, what we have observed there in PPP model, the most important thing, because after that I joined railway and worked for some time with the railway PPP also. You should not have information asymmetry. There's no problem. PPP can only be success when all information and both the ends. There's no surprise element should come. There should not be any surprise element in there. Even if it is a default or it is going to be terminated, you should know what will be the termination payment in event of your fault or force measure or concessionaire. If everything is there, so most of now PPP government of India is listing out in case of termination. So this project has also been developed on that concept, everything knowingly. Suppose if you do not fulfill the technical parameters, then what will happen? In the beforehand, and then you go for the business. So in the long run, what I feel, recently a month back, Ghaziabad has also got the green funding will be also available. So I foresee these projects, this wastewater business. Already industrial wastewater is a good business. Everywhere in Mumbai, in Pune, everywhere industrial wastewater is a business proposition, it is there. But now domestic business, municipal sector is also slowly going, and possibly in future, when you have more, wastewater connection in the houses, you will be tariff input based, system. Possibly this project will be more sustainable, because at this moment it is 100% through, revenue from the government. But slowly, when you will have sewerage connection, sewerage charges, and dynamic, consumer base, updated connection, possibly like mobile and like water supply system, this business will be sustainable and model. That is what my output of this is. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, sir. Professor.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Any question?
Yes, sir. I have a question.
Okay.
Alok, sir, it was
Yeah.
really a very good presentation. Something new, actually, hybrid annuity model HAM, right?
Yeah.
My first question to you is, sir, what is the primary issue faced by the HAM developers, according to you?
By the HAM developer.
Yes.
Okay, the primary reason for HAM developer is they do not know the quality of wastewater. You are asking them to put the plant, right? They will be putting the plant based on the existing water quality. Tomorrow your discharge quality will change. Whether the technology will sustain or not, who will take the guarantee? We are facing this problem. Second point, at this moment you are having X number of water sewerage wastewater in a particular city. After 2 years, you increase whether the plant is having adequate or not. If it is not adequate, he is bypassing in the river. He will be fined under NGT. So who is responsible? Conceptually, you will say he should not be responsible because you have given him a particular capacity of plant to be developed, a particular kind of quality of water to be treated. But you put it chemical water there, you put it pesticide water. So they have their own reasons. That's the second, money payment. But money payment, their cash flow payment, that has been addressed in this program. You will have a screw account every month, every quarter you will get. Third point is whether he will be responsible for his own operator. That's why in a small places, one city, one operator approach. Means, what do you mean? Means you are having the plant, you are responsible for the sewer line maintenance, you are also responsible for the sewerage SPSS pumping stations operation throughout the city, So it is the only one operator who is for the pumping station operation, who is for the treatment plant, who is for the sewer maintenance. So you have to do that.
Sir, I have one more question regarding the governance. Is there any clarity on how state government, or you can say the local bodies, will be represented in this?
Okay, very good. As I have told you, this wastewater is a municipal functions, right? Across the country, it is a municipal function. But the problem is, at least in many of the states, this municipal function is carried over by a state level agencies, right? Like PSD department in UP, somewhere UP Jal Nigam, somewhere Uttarakhand. It's not a local bodies, but a state agency.
Right.
But in the recent time, after 74th constitutional amendment, these functions comes under local bodies. Whoever is doing it, but ultimately it is them, and they collect the revenue. They are responsible for that. Like let's take the case of UP, Jal Sanstans are there, but Jal Sanstans are independent agencies across the 13 towns. There are 13 Jal Sanstans. Similar way you have got in Uttarakhand, there are 2 Jal Sanstans. So everywhere it is a part of local bodies also. Even in your Rajasthan state, also there is a local bodies. But for capital program, they have a state. So local bodies are involved. They get the allocated fund. They maintain it. Possibly, they in future, they like water supply, they have to bill it. They have to charge it. Bill means does not mean you have to put the meter. Just like the fuel size, they will be paying like your property tax, 50 rupees, 100 rupees, 200. So in future, in due course of time, wastewater also money, like your solid waste, everywhere you are paying some collection fee on RFD basis across the country now in a smart city. So there also you have a sewerage collection. Possibly you will pay, quarterly or monthly or annually some small money for your sewerage management also. Right.
Thank you, sir. If you don't mind, can I ask one more question?
Yeah, no issue, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, sir. In 2016, the World Water Forum, Abu Dhabi, the PPP head of Egypt, he made a statement, sir, and he remarked that PPEs are actually like unequal marriages. Because the private partner has to disclose and declare in terms of advance and the remaining accountable. But as far as the government is concerned, there is absence of similar accountability on the part of the government. So what is your opinion on this? I mean, yeah.
I have, after Namami Gange, 2 years I was with the railway station development program. Currently, I am with the smart city program. So last 7-8 years, I am in the PPP procurements for different ministries, right? 16 years. Now, let me tell you, PPP is a smart business, right? In one word, whoever is dealing with the private builder or private concessionaire or contractor, you need to be understanding your business well. If you do not understand your business well, what I mean by business well, you need to be equally capable to handle this with the private player. Secondly, the very important thing I told you in the beginning, there should not be asymmetry of information. The problem with like in railway, if you have an asymmetry of information, there should not be a surprise element. If you are able to do, I can give you many examples in railway. Recently, we are having 4 railways, Ambala and, 4 stations. 2, we have already done it. Habibganj, Bhopal is already operational, and Gandhinagar, these 2. Now 5 stations already in Sikandrabad, and they are in a standalone service contract, but 5s are also coming under. So what my point is there, this is a new emerging areas. The government also needs to be transparent and open, understand the problem of the private players. I will tell you, there was a PPP viability gap funding 40% 10 years back, 15 years back, when Mr. Gadkari was not there. But that was abused. So now it is 20% viability gap funding. So we can have the discussions, all those things. So this is a subject where you need to have, understand that it is a business. You also have to understand. Government has to understand it is a business. So once it is a business, you have to give them a fair treatment, be transparent, identify the risk, put the things, mitigation measure for all the risk, and be transparent. And that's how the program is structured.
Okay, sir, if you don't mind, one last question. Is there any supportive legal framework for this?
Very good question. Most of the states are having a PPP state procurement policy. To my knowledge, it is having Madhya Pradesh. I have seen it in Karnataka. I have seen it in Rajasthan. I have seen it in UP. Apart from that, we have in PPP division, Ministry of Finance, there is a joint secretary exclusively for these central. So PPP is a very regular and most common PPP forms. You will very surprised, even in agriculture sectors like silos. A state like Bihar has done wonderful in the silos, in a storage jobs. Road sector is the most matured sector in the PPP. Everybody knows it. It used to be BOT. Now it is PPP. Now it is hybrid annuity model. Slightly that model is different than this. So it is a traffic and revenue based. So whatever is gap is there, it is added with the, that viability gap funding, right? Only the viability gap funding is capped now up to 20%. So there are legal framework because it is a government of India contingent liability. Once I sign a contract with you, any state government sign a contract under any bilateral projects. It's not the state government if it is a funding. Suppose if it is coming through some bilateral agency or some international funding agency, or government has given a sovereign guarantee, then the private party, we have many cases like, fundings of Air India and others, that. So government takes the liability. It is a government liability. That's why in PPP, it is a sovereign guarantee. If you are a part of if you are a PPP player, it is with the government liability is there. It is there. So you are very much under the law, protected by law. There's no issue for that.
Great presentation, sir, and you answered almost all the questions. just a concluding question. Is there any provision for automatic clearance of payment?
Yes, very good question. For concessionaire, I have told you non-lapsable screw account. Unlike the highway sectors, highway is also having an unlapsable for last 15 years. In water supply sector, it is also a non-lapsable. Slightly, I will not match the slide, but here also, once your quarterly bill is 40%, you get upright, right, gentlemen? Yes, on your bank guarantee. Remaining your 60% in 60% in quarterly, in 60 installments, you get it. Then how do you get it? You operate your plants, get it signed, submit the bill in their screw account will automatically, it is there after 7 days, the PMS is there. Now its payment is not the issue, at least in this project. And it is a 100% central government funded project. Unlike I have told you in Ganga Action Plan, I was a very young boy at that time in 96 when I was working in Kanpur and other places. We had issues. We had issues that time because we could not complete it because there was a 50% from the state government that could not come out. So even if for reasons we could not maintain it, we could not operate it, we could not sustain it. That's all.
Yes, sir. That is the reason I asked, because there was
The
project
this time, that's why the contract is the 15 years. The contractor has to do, after 15 years, there will be a new refurbishment contract. Whoever will come, he will get it. So 15 years is the life cycle. Most of the STPs are mechanical project. Hardly civil work is very little, right? And anyway, civil work will not require after any refurbishment after 15 years. So only your mechanical things will be having issue. So after 15 years, there will be a new refurbishment, many things. Some new party will come, they will make money and go. They are making money. I mean, there are private companies, those who are making money in this business.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. It was a pleasure. Pleasure.
Sir, I have one, not a question. I want to clarification from your side, sir. Alok Srivastava, sir.
Yeah,
I want-
sir.
Yeah,
Alok,
one
okay.
clarification. Sir. Namami Gange program is budget is 22,000 crores,
Right, sir.
and it is expanded. It is the money is incorporated in 36,000 only. Okay. So still there is not a clearance as per our expenditures. Only when COVID-19 is coming, only when COVID-19 is coming, the clear all Namami Gange is clear.
Look, sir. Anyway, I have left in 2018, but still I am in touch with the additional secretary.
Yes.
If you have any specific, to my knowledge, sir, to my knowledge, money is not the issue anywhere in Namami Gange. The simple one reason,
Yes.
100%. The capital work, even the maintenance of the office of that project, manned by the state government, but paid by the central government. So
Okay.
money is not the issue. There is a separate account. Now your point you are giving, the budget was 20 crore, 36 crore. The remaining money we are taking from the World Bank in Ganga projects. And we don't have dearth of, there is no issue of money. If we will have another good projects, we will add on because our experience in past of utilization of fund was very poor. Even now in Bihar, we have just started the work. So money is not a problem, sir. Money is not a problem. Money is not a problem. I will nowhere money is problem.
Okay, fine.
Money is not a problem. This is a
But still project is going on, no?
project is going on very well. I am telling you,
There should be a limit, no?
I will tell you, sir, in first time in India, in Hardwar, Jagjitpur plant was completed before scheduled time. It was done in March only, 146 MLD plant.
Okay.
They got the incentive. The company was from Pune only. I think DL Bhatt, I will just name it. He's doing in Noida. So it's not a problem in there. Now the second part is in UP, you have some corporate, they have their own problem. Like SL Infra is there, some other, I will not name. But some corporate, not because of this project, they have their own legacy problem. does SL Infra and others. So the project is very well received. And in Bihar also, there are some projects are going on, but it took time to, participate. It is a little bit complex project, so it takes time. So of course, only to my knowledge, West Bengal, I'm not aware about the status of their STPs and Ganga projects. But in all these three states, work is very well doing out, and you can see if you go for Ganga sites projects in all these states, you will find the difference. Even in Kanpur, if somebody is from there, they will see it difference in the Kanpur plant and water quality and other things. That is a difference.
Okay, thank you very much. Over to Manoj, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. No question.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody wants to present the paper? Is there anybody who wants to present his paper?
I hope completed. There is no presenter now. So
Now,
over to Prakash sir.
Yeah. Yes, I request Manoj Jain sir to sum up the conference from today. So after that, we will say vote of thanks and all.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Prakash Divakaran sir. First of all, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Alok Vatsyan sir for being patient enough and answering and having a rigorous session. It was a very, very knowledgeable and very detailed discussion. And we could see pour and tons of experience from his entire working life and still working, I guess, pouring out. Very, very nice presentation, very nice discussion, and thank you for parting the knowledge. Also, definitely, I would appreciate Dinesh Panikkar sir for being very this thing on most of the topics. It is always a good interactive session, and especially with Dinesh Panikkar sir asking questions, it definitely opens up the horizon more, so to speak, to the viewers, participants, and the various dignitaries. Questions that might not cross the mind, they would definitely cross the mind. Being alert, being on vigilant, and asking very nice questions. Thank you, Panikkar sir.
Thank you, sir.